Fan.
That's a new Blazer, Derek Queen.
Well, and I know everyone gets all bent out of shape when guys like that, at the podium speak, but I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Dude, professional athletes are made up of like 75% morons. Like, if you ever listened to a lot of NBA, I promise you, Zach Randolph was a really, really good NBA player. Are you familiar with Zach Randolph and what he was all about?
I mean, I find it refreshing. It's like, why do you play hard? Well, because they pay me to. Yeah. Duh.
Rasheed Wallace won an NBA title and was really, really good and was an all-star here. And last time I checked, Rasheed, CTC, cut the check, all that. It's like, I know we all want Steph Curry, but Steph Curry usually isn't available when you're picking 10th. And that guy is few and far between. So give me the guy that's really talented. Give me the guy that's really talented, and then hopefully you have a coach and a GM that can get through to him. Welcome.
Yeah,
if you're picking a difference maker at 10, one of two things: either he's a European guy that's under the radar that grows and develops, or you're taking a guy that's got a little bit of baggage and you hope he can figure it out and turns out to be something really good. And this kid's like 19 years old.
I think that the only problem, there's nothing wrong with being a dumbass.
Yeah.
There is something wrong if you are not motivated.
Yes.
And you won't work.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, I don't know if that's true of Derek Queen, but it sounds like they had some issues with him. Now he's young.
He's young.
Where'd Randolph go? Michigan State?
Michigan State.
I don't know if they had issues with him at Michigan State when he was a freshman, but look, I don't think it's really hard, particularly when you pay these guys a lot of money, to get them to change.
Yeah.
Some guys grow up, a lot of guys don't.
Yeah.
And that would be the red flag with him. But I do like his game. Watching his game,
yeah,
that guy can just score.
Yes. He's got great footwork and he's got great basketball instinct. He just, maybe he's not in the best shape. And like you said, maybe motivation's is a factor there. But, I'll take that. I'll take a guy with raw skill. At some point when you're drafting 9th or 10th, you aren't going to get a complete product. And I just am not. We talk about this a lot in the NFL draft coming up here. Like, when you get a guy that doesn't have red flags, he goes in the top 5. When in the NFL, when you get to the back half of the first round, and in the NBA, when you get to 8, 9, and 10, you are literally taking flyers on people. And for me, and this is just my philosophy, I don't like taking flyers on outliers, right? Like, look around NBA All-Stars. And I'm not talking about finding, like, if you think that finding a guy that's going to give you 8 points and 7 rebounds and like a couple assists, if you think that guy is like what you need to find, then by all means, go draft the Con Knipple guy. But that doesn't work in the NBA. The NBA is full of freak athletes. And when you look around the league at All-Stars, when you look about the guys that are really difference makers, those guys usually fit a profile. Steph Curry, LeBron James, Damian Lillard, Giannis, Jaylen Brown, Anthony Davis, Tatum, Irving, Mitchell, Shea. Which one of these guys is the slow-footed, undersized, unathletic guy that goes on to lead his team to anything? Like, you can call Luka, you can say that Luka's fat. Luka's also, 6'7"? And maybe the most athletic fat guy that you'll ever see in your entire life.
Yeah, he just dropped 45 last night in the 80th game of the season.
So I'm trying to think who is the best player in the NBA that is kind of the outlier there. Those are the guys that end up being decent players. And the Blazers are full of that. And it drives me crazy that everyone wants more of those guys. I don't need more solid role players. My God, you got a team full of them. Take a chance, even if it ends up being an absolute bust. Take a chance on the guy that's 6'7" and really rangy. Take a chance on the guy that just that scores whenever he has the ball, and hope that you can figure something out.
You have faith they can do that?
Well, no.
They will do that? You have faith in Joe Cronin? Jody? Huh? The War Room? You got faith in that? No, seriously. It's a serious question. Do you feel good about it? You think they can?
I don't. I mean, when I look at the draft picks that he's been in charge of, Cronin.
Do we see his archetype of player yet?
Well,
because Olshey certainly had that.
I guess Scoot, you didn't have a choice because they said he was generational, which, whatever, right?
Bro.
And
he's not.
Well, no. And it didn't matter because one
Magic Johnson.
Scoot felled you, right? So it wasn't like you didn't even have a choice between Miller and Scoot. The Hornets took Miller, and so and Sharp, I get why you took Sharp. Sharp is the guy that I would like if you're gonna go for a rebuild, I appreciate that. Didn't play college, 6'6", jump out of the gym, the most athletic freaking guy in the building, and he doesn't that's a great example. Shane Sharp got benched this year for what? Not playing hard and not playing defense and not kind of being what Chauncey wanted him to be. And that's fine. I get it. You know what he also delivered? 35 and 7 a bunch. You see what he did the other night? I think he had 37. If that guy ever figures it out, that dude is scary if he can ever put it together. So, yeah, I love that they went with him. Now, with Klingon, dude, Klingon, he is not going to be a dominant player in this league. You hope that he turns into a starter. You hope that he turns into a solid starter, but that guy isn't going to be an all-star. He's a plodding guy with very limited offensive game and doesn't have great conditioning, right? That guy is never going to be like a stellar thing. But I get it. You drafted him. You thought he was the best available. There wasn't someone after him. You plug him in at the starter. But if you're trying to find difference makers, Sharp is the guy you swing on. The Scoot one, I don't know what to tell you. You bet on.
So would you say he's 1 for 2?
I would say he's 1 for 2. I'd say he's 1 for 2. So
It's
do you
pretty
have
generous.
do you have faith?
Yeah.
And by the way, that 1 for 2 is an incomplete because there's not one of his 3 picks that you would look at and say that is a definite building block. Honestly, the 2 building blocks are the 2 guys that he traded for in Kamara and Denny.
But one could be.
One could be.
You're saying.
One looks
building block.
Sharp looks like
All right.
there is real promise that he could turn into a legit big time NBA player.
Guys, move on.
So the Blazers have 2 games left. They play Golden State tomorrow and the Lakers on Sunday. So do we think Luka, LeBron, those guys will be playing?
They just locked up the 3rd seed last night. I don't know if they
Oh.
can get to the 2. So if they can't, I would guess maybe not.
I don't think they can.
That's a no. Is Golden State still playing? They're
Very
still,
much so.
Yeah.
Like they're playing for not the 6 and playing the Lakers. They have an outside shot at getting a home slot with 4, but right now they're down to the 6.
Yeah,
so.
Houston is 3 games up on them, so unless there's a wonky tiebreaker, I think LA's.
You'll get Golden State's best shot and not Los Angeles'.
Yeah,
So if you just want to see, you just want to go see a guy at Moda Center this year,
Mhm.
isn't Steph Curry isn't he number 1 to go see? Isn't he the number 1 draw?
that and LeBron.
I don't know that-
Wemby was pretty big before the clots.
Yeah,
but
Wemby, that's a good one. Yeah, I just think LeBron, Steph's just more fun to watch than LeBron.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So and plus I think, I guess people have probably seen both by now.
Yeah.
But
Well, you don't know how many more times you're going to get to see either one of them. That's the 2 biggest draws.
exactly. It could be the 2 biggest draws of the season,
Yeah.
the last 2 games.
Well, and Luka too.
If Luke, yeah, but like I said, if they
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.